Hello everyone, good morning, welcome to Lukmaan IS. So today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 29th of December 2021. So today we are going to look into some important topics that are important for the mains exam as well as for the prelims exam. So let us quickly go and see the topics that are important for the day. So today we are going to cover these topics that I have listed over here. The first topic is audit irregularities led to FCRA denial, says official. Okay, so FCRA stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. We will understand about the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and we will understand about what are the repercussions for the NGOs who are not able to meet certain accounting standards as per the FCRA Act. Then we will understand about trade defense. Okay, so we are going to understand about an article that we have talked yesterday as well. Okay, recently the government of India or Ministry of Finance has imposed certain restrictions on the goods that are being imported from China. So we are importing many goods, and some of these goods are considered to be being dumped into India. So government has imposed anti-dumping duties on these goods. So this is the other perspective of the same article that we discussed yesterday. So like this talks about why these anti-dumping duties can be counterproductive for the government. Then third topic is Indianizing the legal systems and the Supreme Court's views. Okay, as you know that the legal system in India largely follows the Western countries. Okay, so like we have adopted the Western principles of jurisprudence, we have adopted the Western principles of justice, okay, in delivering justice through the legal system in India. So this article talks about how can we Indianize the legal system in India. Okay, there are some views from the prominent judges of the Supreme Court of India on this article. Apart from this, the fourth topic that we are going to talk about is the James Webb Space Telescope. Okay, so today till date this is the largest space telescope, okay, that has been recently launched on 25th of December, okay, by a group of nations together. Okay, so this is going to be the largest space telescope. We will understand some of the things associated with this telescope, and this is important from the perspective of the prelims exam, that too under the science and technology section. Then the next topic is about the state's performance on health indicators. Okay, yesterday there was an article in the Hindu newspaper that talked about health performance, the Niti Aayog's health index. So today there was a data point in the Hindu newspaper that has given in-depth data related information about this topic. So we are going to understand about the Niti Aayog's health index today as well. Okay, so with this, now let us quickly move to the first topic. Okay, this is the first topic that says audit irregularities led to FCRA denial, says official. Okay, so missionaries of charity has not requested a review. Okay, so now we need to understand that recently it was being reported that one of the NGO that was started by Mother Teresa, okay, she is a Nobel laureate. Okay, so the NGO that was started by Mother Teresa, it is headquartered, it is registered in Calcutta in India. That NGO has not been given the FCRA clearance. Okay, so it was a huge hue and cry. Why? Because the clarity, this particular thing came into highlight on 25th of December 2021 on the Christmas day. Okay, on the day when people celebrate Christmas, on that day this thing came into highlight, and some of the news media have also reported that government wake up on 25th of December to see that this NGO has not followed some of the accounting standards. Okay, so its license has been cancelled as of now by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So we will understand about some of the developments related to this topic, and the basic law that is in place that regulates the foreign contribution for the NGOs. So as of now, we have the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. This Foreign Contribution Regulation Act actually regulates, you know, the NGOs and other such institutions that receive foreign funds. Okay, if you have an NGO that is registered in Government of India and this NGO wants to, you know, receive the foreign funding or foreign donation, in that case the NGO has to be registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act is administered by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, so if an NGO is not registered under FCRA Act, in that case that NGO becomes ineligible to receive foreign funds. It cannot receive foreign funds in its accounts. The moment it is, you know, the moment it is detected, the moment, you know, an investigation happens and it is found out that an NGO is not registered under FCRA and still it is receiving foreign funds, in that case the government may withdraw, you know, the registration of that particular NGO. In this case, what has happened, the NGO that is being talked about is this particular NGO, which is Missionaries of Charity. Okay, so this is Missionaries of Charity is a Catholic religious congregation. It was set up by the Nobel laureate Mother Teresa in 1915. Okay, and it was renewed. Okay, its license was not renewed because of audit irregularities as per the version of a senior official. Okay, so now here we need to understand like what are the audit irregularities. What happens, like every institution, every organization in India, they have to follow certain accounting standards. They have to maintain the balance of accounts. They have to maintain how much fund is received and how much fund is like how much expenditure was done and whether tax is being paid on it or not. In case of NGOs, what happens, like, you know, they receive donations from many organizations, individuals that are based in India, as well as organizations and individuals that are based outside India. For receiving such foreign funds, these NGOs has to be registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. The Missionaries of Charity, this is also registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, but, you know, the accounting procedure that they have followed may have, you know, some irregularities and all. We will talk about what are those irregularities. Although the data that was submitted by this particular NGO has 76 pages and it has detailed, you know, detailed explanation about the amount that it has received and the amount that it has spent on for different purposes. But at the same time, okay, so under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, there are 15 points where they have, you know, the NGOs have to declare about certain points. Okay, these declaration, I mean, like, have also to be filled. So the Ministry of Home Affairs officials did not find, you know, satisfactory detail in those things, so that's why they have not renewed the application of this particular NGO. Okay, so this was in news. And not only this NGO, there are, you know, hundreds and hundreds of NGOs in India. Many of these NGOs have already been withdrawn the renewable status. Many NGOs have been deregistered by the Ministry of Home Affairs because of financial irregularities. Recently, you know, the Government of India has also become little stringent in this particular, you know, aspect. So we will understand about this thing. Okay. So the comment comes a day after the Union Home Ministry said it refused to renew the registration as some adverse inputs were noticed. Okay. So now let us understand about FCRA. FCRA means Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. FCRA registration is mandatory for any NGO or association to receive foreign funds or donations. The Home Ministry is the controlling authority of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, and it conducts inspections and audits of NGOs to establish their books are in order. Okay. So the latest annual financial returns filed by the congregation on December 13, running into 76 pages, had details of donations and expenditures. In 2015, the ministry amended the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act rules. Okay, in the year of 2015, the Ministry of Home Affairs have amended these rules and mandated NGOs to file returns quarterly and give an undertaking that the acceptance of foreign funds is not likely to prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India, impact friendly relations with a foreign state, and does not disrupt communal harmony. According to the returns filed by the congregation, it had received, means like this particular NGO, which is Missionaries of Charity, it has like whatever amount it has received, they have already disclosed these things. Okay, so while filing the returns, the NGOs have to fill a column comprising of 15 questions. Okay, they have to fill up a column comprising 15 questions on whether it has transferred the donation to any other NGO, or if functionary has been prosecuted or convicted for indulging in activities aimed at religious conversion, among others. Okay, so this is all. So with this, now let us move to the next topic. This is again a very important topic. It talks about trade defense. Okay, so we are going to understand about what is trade defense. Okay, so a reflexive resort to the anti-dumping duty risk skewing market dynamics. Okay, here the author is saying that, like the author is highlighting about the step taken by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade. Okay, and like by the Commerce Ministry. So the author is highlighting about the anti-dumping duty that was recently imposed on 5 different type of goods that are being imported from China. So anti-dumping duty is issued by the government in cases when the government identifies, or after investigation it is established that the goods that are being imported in India from outside, whether these goods are sold are imported at a price less than the price of manufacturing of these goods, these are against the trade practices. How? Because any good that is being manufactured, like if it is being sold, so it has to be sold at a price which is higher than the manufacturing price. In many cases, many countries are there, they find that like they have some surplus of certain goods and they are dumping these goods into other jurisdictions. They are dumping means they are selling it at a very cheaper price. So when these goods are exported to other countries, though in other countries these goods become more competitive. Why? Because they are much cheaper. Okay, they are available at a much cheaper price to the consumers in the other jurisdiction. So what happens? The local businesses in the other jurisdiction find it difficult to compete with those goods that are dumped into that particular country or economy. Okay, so here in this case, the government had identified that these 5 goods are being dumped from China, and government had imposed anti-dumping duty. But here the author is giving a different perspective. The author is giving a different viewpoint on this particular thing. What the author is talking about? The author says that, like resorting to reflexive measures, I mean like when we take sudden steps against anything, so this is going to curb the market dynamics. What happens, like when we talk about a market, so in the market there are multiple things that actually play a role in the market dynamics. For example, the demand supply balance. Okay, demand supply balance. So you might have studied about the demand supply related things. So like in the market, when there is more supply, so demand of the good will go down, and at the same time the price of the good will come down. And at the same time, when the supply is very less, the demand will be there, and at the same time the prices of the good will go high. So author is highlighting here that resorting to the reflexive measures of imposing anti-dumping duty will not do any good to the market dynamics, and it is actually going to hamper the competitive measures in the market, because the more competition is there in the market, the more refined goods would be available to the final consumers. Okay, so these are the things. Here the author is highlighting that the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs recently notified the imposition of anti-dumping duty on 5 products manufactured in China in order to safeguard domestic producers from lower priced imports that the Directorate General of Trade Remedies had found as being dumped in the Indian market. The items range from specific flat rolled aluminium products for solar modules and silicon sealants used in the manufacture. So yesterday we have already talked about those goods, okay, in detail, that where the Ministry of Commerce or the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs have imposed the anti-dumping duty. Okay, so here we need to understand that a remedy sanctioned, this particular anti-dumping measure, okay, is a remedy that was sanctioned by the World Trade Organization. WTO stands for World Trade Organization. So it is a remedy that was sanctioned by the World Trade Organization to protect a member country's domestic industry from imports that have been priced at levels below those prevailing in the exporting nation's home market. The anti-dumping duty has become one of India's most widely used trade weapons, especially against flood of cheaper Chinese imports. Okay, so this is the thing. So the World Trade Organization has given the anti-dumping duty as a remedy measure for those countries that want to safeguard their domestic market, because in their domestic market some of the goods may be priced at a certain level, but some other goods that are being imported from other country may be priced at a lower rate as compared to the price of those goods in the domestic economy of that country itself. So there the WTO has sanctioned, it has given this right to a country to impose anti-dumping duty. Okay, so this is what the author highlights, that if we keep on resorting to such measures, then it will it will mold the market dynamics. And the author also highlights that there are certain goods, there are many goods where the government is still conducting the investigations. So investigation is going on for many goods. I mean, more than hundreds of goods are there where still some of these investigations are going on to establish where whether China is dumping those goods in Indian territory or not. Okay, so as of February 2020, India had imposed anti-dumping measures on 90 Chinese products, with another 24 China specific anti-dumping investigations in process at the time. Okay, so in the year of 2020 itself, as of February 2020, India had imposed anti-dumping duty on 90 Chinese products, and for 24 such products still investigation is going on. Okay, and there may be many more products on which the investigation may be initiated later on. Okay, so the use of a specific trade remedy, howsoever warranted, does however raise questions. A reflexive resort to anti-dumping duty, especially if the domestic applicant is significantly large and relatively resilient manufacturer of the product, risks skewing the market dynamics in the Indian company's favor, with both downstream industries, in case intermediate goods, and consumers likely to face the consequence of reduced competition on final prices. Here the author is saying, when we talk about certain goods for which the domestic manufacturers are well enough means they are themselves very large producers. Okay, so imposing anti-dumping duty on those goods will actually play devastating effect on the market dynamics. Here they are talking about there can be certain goods that are directly produced and sold in the market. There can be certain goods that are produced, then it goes to secondary stage, okay, and then finally it goes to the consumer. So the author is talking about if we talk about downstream industries, so we have certain goods that are considered as intermediate goods, okay. So consumers are the ones who are going to face the final consequences of such things, okay. Consumers have to bear the prices of the anti-dumping duty that the government imposes on those goods, because the competition is going to go down, okay. Also, efforts to narrow the sizable trade deficit with China by targeted recourse to levy have made little headway in addressing the widening gaps, as imports have continued to largely outpace India's exports, okay. So this article gives the other viewpoint, means it talks about like what can be the repercussions of imposing anti-dumping duty on certain specific items. So with this, we will move to the next topic for the day. We will understand about this topic that says Indianizing the legal system and Supreme Court's views, okay. So this topic is important under Indian polity and constitution. So here we are going to understand about the judgment show conscious efforts at getting rid of crutches of colonial influence. Here you might be knowing that as of now, when we talk about the justice delivery system in India, in most of the cases the legal framework that is in place, it is influenced by the Western system. We have adopted the Western system of justice delivery. We have adopted the Western principles of jurisprudence. So what has happened in the wake of adopting multiple Western systems, we have started giving lesser focus on Indian system of jurisprudence. Means like in India also, like we have had great legal luminaries. Like they have given very innumerous concepts on multiple areas, and the author is highlighting here that we have ignored many basic principles that were already in place in India, okay. So this is the right time for us to revisit and to look into certain those areas where we can Indianize the legal system in India, okay. The author is saying that at least 2 Supreme Court judges have in the past few months openly expressed the need to Indianize the legal system, okay. In September, the Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana called for the Indianization of the legal system to provide greater access to justice to the poor as the need of the hour, okay. As you know that like getting justice is also an expensive affair in India, because a person like who is very poor, it becomes next to impossible for him to reach to the highest court of justice, to reach to the Supreme Court. It seems that Supreme Court or the high courts, these are like little bit distanced from the rural masses, from the people who are poor, because like when it comes to like charges by the lawyer, there can be multiple lawyers who charge lakhs and lakhs of rupees for just a single hearing, for attending a single hearing. But like if a person is poor, he cannot afford to pay such a huge charge to a lawyer, okay. So in that case, what is the need? Because like here many of the lawyers are charging exorbitant amount from the clients, but like those clients who are rich, those clients who can afford to pay their fees, they can only get the services from these top lawyers. But at the same time, when we talk about many poor people, there can be poor households, they also need the justice. For them, like they will be at the mercy of charity of a lawyer. Like if a lawyer is willing to give his service at free of cost or at very less price, only then they will be able to, like knock the door of High Court or the Supreme Court. Otherwise it becomes very difficult. Although we have Legal Services Authorities Act in place, but like that also because of lack of knowledge among the rural masses or among the people who are poor, it becomes very difficult for them to get get to knock the door of the high courts or the Supreme Courts. So that's why the author is highlighting that this is important for us to Indianize the legal system, so that this availability of justice can be made available to the poorest of the poor also. Okay, so here on December 26, Justice S. Abdul Nazir went a step further to underscore the need to embrace the great legal traditions as per Manu, Kautilya, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Narad, like Parashara and Yajnavalkya and other legal giants of ancient India. So Justice S. Abdul Nazir has highlighted that in India we have had some of the greatest legal luminaries in ancient India. They are Manu. You might have heard about Manu Smriti. Then Kautilya has written Arthashastra. Okay, Arthashastra is a treatise of political affairs. Okay, in a state, in a nation. Okay, he has talked about how the politics and jurisprudence or justice should be administered. Then Katyayana, Brihaspati, Narada. Then we have Parashara and Yajnavalkya. They are some of the legal giants. They are one of the best legal luminaries of ancient India. Justice Nazir was speaking on the occasion of decolonization of the Indian legal system. Okay, now it is being considered that this is a time that we should think of decolonizing the legal system. As of now, the legal system in India is widely influenced by the Western philosophies, Western traditions and Western thoughts about jurisprudence. So we should think of adopting many good principles that are available in Indian text. So recently there was a Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad. Okay, Akhil Bharatiya means all India, Adhivakta means the lawyer. Okay, lawyer means like people who are advocates. So all India Advocates Council. Okay, so that was held in Hyderabad. Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad means All India Advocates Council. So in that Advocates Council, they have talked about the decolonization of the Indian legal system. So Justice Nazir wondered what the future model of our legal system ought to be. He concluded that there can be no doubt that this colonial legal system is not suitable for the Indian population. The need of the hour is Indianization of the legal system to decolonize the Indian legal system. Okay, so this is an important thing, and apart from this there are certain other highlights also. Okay, so great lawyers and judges are not born but are made by proper education and great legal traditions. Okay, so the judges have highlighted that great lawyers and judges are not born but are made by proper education and great legal traditions, as were Manu, Kautilya, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Narada, Parashara and Yajnavalkya. Okay, and at the same time the Supreme Court judgments themselves show that the Indian legal system had made an early start at consciously getting rid of the crutches of the colonial influence. The evolution of laws in India has been through legislation and the binding precedents of the Supreme Court under Article 141 of the Constitution. Okay, when we talk about the public interest litigation, okay, the public interest litigation mechanism is truly Indian. You might have heard about PIL, public interest litigation. It was devised in India. The principle was devised in India and it was started by Justice P.N. Bhagwati. Okay, Justice P.N. Bhagwati was the person who has conceptualized the public interest litigation. I hope you might be knowing about what is a PIL. Means, let's consider you are a citizen, you are a normal citizen. There is something that you think, some like some justice must be done about. Okay, you are not directly an aggrieved party in that case. In that case also you can file a PIL in a High Court or in the Supreme Court of India. That public interest litigation will be heard by the Supreme Court as a public interest case. Okay, and like some justice may be done in that case. So like the public interest litigation mechanism is truly Indian. We cannot allow our judicial thinking to be constricted by the reference to the law as it prevails in England, or for the matter of that in any other foreign country. We no longer need the crutches of the foreign legal system. Okay, we are certainly prepared to receive light from whatever source it comes from, but we have to build up our own jurisprudence. Okay, so this was, some of the comments made by the judges of the Supreme Court of India. Okay, so this is very important for us.
Sir, PL has came by under the justice of under the justice of Bhagwati. He has introduced Nasa.
Yeah, Justice P.N. Bhagwati has introduced the public interest litigation system in India. So under public interest litigation, you can simply write a letter to the Supreme Court of India about something that you think in this society, some justice must be done about. So it can be taken as a suo motu case, or it can be taken by the Supreme Court of India as a public interest litigation, and they may start hearing a case on this. Okay. Yeah, public interest litigation means public do not have to pay. They can write a letter, they can even draft an email. So there can be multiple ways of getting your issue to be heard by the Supreme Court of India. So public interest litigation is a very, is a system that has revolutionized the way the jurisprudence is imparted in India. Yes, means like you can just write an email, you can write a letter to the Supreme Court of India about something. It is not important that you should be hearing that particular case. In the public interest, you are getting that matter to be highlighted in a court of law. Then that court will have to decide whether they want to take it as a public interest litigation or not. Once they take it in, then they will start hearing. They will start calling up the authorities that are responsible for doing certain things and that they are not doing. For example, let's consider you visit a particular village. There can be village or many other places where you do not find roads, you do not find any school, government school. So yeah, you do not find any social infrastructure built by the government. In that case, you can write a PIL, or you can file a PIL that in many villages like that nothing has been done of this sort that can empower the social infrastructure, that can empower the people at the grassroots level. In that case, Supreme Court or the High Court may take up this thing as a PIL, and they can summon the authorities that are responsible for actually building certain things. Maybe. Okay. So there can be wider debate, because doing those things comes under many executive authorities, and at the same time you have heard about DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. So they are not enforceable in a court of law, but many DPSPs have been given the shape of a law as well. For implementing certain directive principles, the government of India made certain law to make it enforceable in certain cases. Like if we talk about right to education, earlier it was there only in the DPSP as certain principle. Later on it was introduced in the fundamental rights also, right? So in the fundamental rights, article 21A, okay, so right to this particular thing. Okay, so under that particular thing, there are multiple examples where DPSPs has been given a shape through certain acts, legislations. Okay, so this is the thing. So here they talk about, like even the retired Supreme Court judge, Justice S.A. Bobde, okay, he has also referred to how even in the ancient and religious text of India, a well-developed sense of privacy is evident, okay. So they have talked about certain, things like, in the Joseph Shine judgment decriminalizing adultery, the court refers to how the Manusmriti chapters, this particular thing prescribes punishment for those who are addicted to intercourse with the wives of other men by punishments which cause terror followed by banishment. Okay, so a lot of things are there, in the ancient religious text. We find the notion of privacy, we find the notion of, of certain things. So with this, now let us move to the next topic for the day. This is also a very important article. Here, this topic is important for the prelims exam under science and technology. We will understand this topic. Okay. So this was in news today under the text and context section of the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so we will understand about James Webb Space Telescope. Okay, so James Webb Space Telescope is one of the largest telescope that has been built till date. Okay, before this we have had Hubble Space Telescope. Okay, before this we have had Hubble Space Telescope. So Hubble Space Telescope was of 2.4 meters, means like it has a diameter of 2.4 meter only, but like that was the largest space telescope that time. Now, the James Webb Space Telescope has been launched, okay, on 25th of December by many major countries including the United States of America, like NASA. Okay, NASA is a space agency of the United States of America. Then if we talk about the European Space Agency, ESA, European Space Agency, Canadian Space Agency, these agencies together, okay, they together have worked on this particular project, and they have launched this James Webb Space Telescope from French Guiana. Okay, so French Guiana is used as a launch pad for launching the satellites by major countries like United States of America, European countries, and the Canada. Okay, so NASA is a space agency of the United States of America. Then we have European Space Agency, we have Canadian Space Agency. So these space agencies together have worked on this thing and they have launched this project. So till date it is going to be the largest space telescope, and it will be able to detect the faintest object, okay, in the universe. It will be able to detect the faintest object. So here it this image, this infographic gives you the detailed view how does different component of this particular telescope look like. Okay, so now let us first understand about James Webb Space Telescope, then we will understand about certain other points. Here they talk about L2 point. Okay, L2 means Lagrangian point. Okay, we will understand about what is a Lagrangian point. Okay, so the James Webb Space Telescope hurled into space by Ariane 5 rocket and will now be able to observe the farthest reaches of the universe without any atmospheric turbulence. Okay, so now since it will be in the in the Lagrangian point, so it will not face any atmospheric turbulence. Means like those we have giant space telescopes that are located on Earth, but like they face a lot of difficulties because of turbulences in the atmosphere. Because in the atmosphere what happens, lot of things keep on happening. I mean, like things are dynamic, things are moving, air density keeps on increasing and decreasing, the temperature keeps on increasing and decreasing, lot of things happens. Okay, but like this particular space telescope, so like this is a telescope that will be launched in this space it will be there in this space, and from there it is going to observe the outer space. Okay, so this is the thing. So it is going to travel for 29 days. It was launched on 25th of December. Today is 29th of December. It's been only 4 days. So it is going to, going to travel for 25 more days to reach its destination. It is going to travel for 29 days together. 25 plus 4, 29 days to reach its destination. Its destination is located somewhere in L2 point. L2 stands for Lagrangian point 2. So this is a point where the gravitational force of the sun and the gravitational force of the earth will balance each other at that point, and where the orbital speed of the satellite of this particular telescope and the gravitational force of sun and the earth will balance each other. So like it will find itself in a stable position. So this telescope will be in a stable position in the L2 point. L2 stands for Lagrangian point. Lagrangian points are those points outside the surface of the earth. These are those points where the gravitational pull of the sun and gravitational pull of the earth balances each other. So an object kept over there will be stable. It will not be unstable. It will be stable. So if it is revolving in a certain orbit, so it will keep on orbiting in that orbit without any without any problems. After 29-day long journey, the spacecraft will with the telescope will arrive at a point, a space called Lagrange point 2, also known as L2. At this point, the Earth-Sun system's gravitational force and the spacecraft's orbital motion would balance each other. Okay, so gravitational force of the Earth, gravitational force of the Sun, and the spaces, this objects, rotate or like orbital speed will balance each other. So it will be in a stable position. So in this diagram, they have mentioned where the L2 point is there. So this is the Earth, this is Moon, this is Earth's orbit, and this will be the Lagrangian point. Over here, they have given a diagrammatic thing to represent like how different components will be there. So this is that particular rocket. This is the rocket launcher through which this particular telescope will be launched in this space. So as a folded thing, it looks like this. Then this is sun shield structure. Then this is sun shield layers extended and separated. Okay. Then secondary mirror deployed, and the lateral wings of primary mirror deployed. So these are the things. Okay. Now here we need to understand that like this telescope has big screens, and these screens will block the sun rays that will be received from the sun, and at the same time from other light. So it will be able to detect this will be able to detect the faintest object from, because like from behind all the lights will be blocked, and from from its this front end it will be able to observe the things. It has a diameter of 6.5 meters. Okay, this James Webb Space Telescope has a diameter of 6.5 meter. The Hubble Space Telescope had a diameter of 2.4 meter only. Okay, so it is almost 3 times large. Okay, almost like more than 2 times large, or like we can say it to be 3 times large almost. Okay, so this is the thing. It has 18 hexagonal structures in it. This this telescope had 18 hexagonal structures, and these are so 18 gold plated beryllium hexagons. Okay, so these are gold plated beryllium hexagons that will be there. Okay, so this, if we talk about James Webb Space Telescope, it will be able to detect the signals from the visible range to infrared range. Okay, so it has a deeper penetration in the infrared range, and the Hubble Space Telescope had was able to detect some ultraviolet rays, visible rays, and some infrared radiation. But James Webb will be able to detect some more rays. Okay, so this is the expanse of the universe. It has been 13.8 billion years since the universe was formed after the Big Bang. Okay, Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago, and since then the universe has been expanding. Okay, so the lower portion of it shows the, this is the Big Bang, this is the place where Big Bang happened, and after few billion years, then the universe started forming. I mean, like, galaxies, stars, these things started forming, and now the things have expanded so much that, like, we are very much ahead of it. So this James Webb Space Telescope will be able to detect light up to this point, and Hubble Space Telescope was able to detect up to this point. So this is the thing in time range. If you go through this diagram in detail, you will understand. Okay. So with this, now let us move to the next topic for the day. We will understand about this topic. It says states performance on health indicators. Okay. Yesterday we discussed about Niti Aayog's health index. We talked about that Kerala had performed the best. It had scored 82.5, and it was the first ranked state. Okay. So there are certain other states that have also performed better. They have improved their ranking, but like some states are there, who are performing very low. And among those states is Bihar, then Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are the states that perform very low on these health indicators. Okay, so 4 out of the top 5 major states in 2019 and 20 index are from South. Okay, so from South India, like, there are 5 top states. Out of those 5 top states, 4 states are from South India. Okay, except Karnataka. So they are Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and we have this particular thing, Maharashtra. So these are some of the states that have performed well. Karnataka has not improved its ranking. It has gone down by 2 points. So this is the thing. So here, like, if you see this particular scale that is mentioned over here, it has different colors. The more red a color, it shows that, like, in those states the health indicators is not good, and those states that are in deeper green color, so they have better health index indicator. Okay, so here Kerala performed the best on the maternal mortality ratio, under 5 mortality ratio parameters. Uttar Pradesh score improved by 22% compared to 2018-19, the highest among major states. Okay, so this particular indicator, Niti Aayog's health index, actually it comprises of the maternal mortality ratio, under 5 mortality rate, proportion of institutional deliveries, proportion of shortfall of healthcare providers against the required number, okay, and death registration. So there are a lot of things you need to sit back and look into these statistics. You will be able to understand in detail how different states are performing when it comes to Niti Aayog's health index. Okay, so like North, Central, East, South and West, they have categorized the states according to their geographical location. So with this, now let us move to the next topic, the last section for the day. It is the prelims practice question. Now this term ACE2, okay, this term ACE2 is talked about in the context of, okay, last year. So this question was asked in the UPSC Prelims exam 2021. So there we have come across this particular term which says ACE2. Actually ACE2 is an acronym, okay, is an acronym of a scientific term. I have given the explanation in the document format. Okay, so this is an acronym for a term. Actually this particular thing is used to detect the spread of viral diseases. Okay, so it is associated with diseases, okay, spread of viral diseases. So you need to find out like what is the exact full form of this term. So similarly, if you come across such terms specifically from the biological sense, like because of COVID-19 pandemic, so this biotechnology has emerged as one of the leading leading area from where UPSC is asking questions when it comes to science and technology. Okay, so this is the thing. Correct answer for this question is option D. I have also given the explanation in a word format, with you. You can see that. Okay, so I will ask my team to share that explanation also as a word document, okay, with you. So with this, now let us wind up today's discussion. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a great day ahead. Thank you.